עטרת פעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני העם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני העם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה Dodi livani lo haroeh. Dodi livani lo
You shall love Adonai with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. Take to heart these commandments I give you this day. Remember and tell all your children to live by my way. Speak of them when you're home, when you're on your way, when you lie down and get up and go about your day, as a sign on your hand and upon your head, on the side of your doorposts, my commandments may always be read. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shekemo Malechuto Leolam Vaed. Please remember, observe all these words that I've said, to live and be holy for years straight ahead. For I am your God, out of Egypt I led. Be holy, be righteous, remember the words that I've said. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shekemo Malechuto Leolam Vaed. You shall love Adonai with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. Take to heart these instructions I give you this day. Remember and tell all your children to live, oh, to live and remember my ways. for generations and generations, and the door of Vador, Vador, Vador. The door of Vador for generations and generations, and the door of Vador, Vador, Vador.
Look around the world, look around your town. Every single age is represented all around. You see them everywhere, every street, avenue or boulevard. Anywhere, any beach, any park or any yard.
The door of Vador for generations and generations, and the door of Vador, Vador, Vador.
Ecclesiastes said one generation goes and another generation arrives. He got it wrong. For years we all live side by side.
Can you lean on those who arrived here before? Can you learn from those you remember being born?
Can you see that we are all together evermore?
The door of Vador for generations and generations, and the door of Vador, Vador, Vador. The door of Vador for generations and generations, and the door of Vador, Vador, Vador. The door of Vador for generations and generations, and the door of Vador, Vador, Vador.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Temple Emmanuel Friday night. I hope you grabbed a siddur in the back. You don't have a siddur in your hand? You've memorized all the prayers. They're not in the chairs. They're in the back. So, all right, those guys are going to go. Goody, you're going to get them for all of us? Let's start on page 10, saying how good it is for us to be together. There's Elizabeth Yaron. She's our pianist today. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. One more time. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Repeat after me. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat Shalom. This moment right now, for me, feels like a very exciting moment, and the reason is we're about to light the candles, and this week was an extraordinary week because we welcomed 3 people into the people Israel, and they're all here, and we want them all to come up to light the candles. So I'd like to invite Anna and York and Courtney. Please come on up by the candles. And more than that, we have even more celebrate. Bring Abe with you because everyone likes to see a baby. More than that, we have the Nabati family. Max is having his bar mitzvah next week. Why don't you guys come on up as well to light the candles so that we can bring in Shabbat with all these simchas. This is what it's about. It's about having exciting moments in your life where actually they're called liminal moments. Judaism's filled with liminal moments, and a liminal moment is when you go from one status to another, right? The most obvious one is when you get married, you go from being single to being married. So here we have Max, who's going from just being a kid to being, well, he's not really a man, but he's not going to be a kid anymore. And we have people who've lived their lives and have now joined the Jewish people, and we're so excited. The little one is Abe, just saying that. So let's go to page 2, and Courtney, if you'd like to light the candles. Ya la 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 la, 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 la 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 la. Let's get much closer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. So let's give him a little mazel tov. Mazel tov. Awesome. Congratulations. See, he'll be like this tall next week. You'll see. He'll grow. Thank you for coming. Thank you. As they're making their way to the seat, we turn to that moment when we go from what happened to us this week to the unknown of next week. And right now we sit in the middle of that. So this could be like we had this week, a very exciting week. It could have been a difficult week for you. Probably had a little bit of each. But now's time to take ourselves through the week. Think about last Saturday evening when Shabbat ended. Sometimes it's hard to remember what you did last Saturday evening. But bring yourself through the week. I like to think of this as if there's something that's popping out at you that happened to you this week, maybe you need to spend your time just concentrating on that one thing. But take time now for Chazarat HaShavua, for a review of the week. We continue now on page 20. As we continue to welcome Shabbat, we welcome the Sabbath bride in the same way that the Kabbalists did in the 17th century. They ran out into the field dressed in white and danced and sang and welcomed the Sabbath. We'll do everything but dressing in white and running out into the field. We'll do the other part. Here we go. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 penei Shabbat nekabe, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 penei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Hishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem ultiferet v'litila ya la la ya la 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 lecha dodi ya la 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 likrat kala Ya la 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 penei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5 Hitoreri Kiva orech kumiori Daberi Kivod Adonai Alayich nigla Ya la la Ya la 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 lecha dodi Ya la 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 likrat kala Ya la 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 penei Shabbat Penei Shabbat nekabela. Let us rise and face the entrance as we welcome the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam besimcha u'v'tzola Tochemune am segula boi chala ya la la lecha dodi ya la 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 likrat kala Ya la 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 penei Shabbat nekabela.
We'll stay standing just as we are and turn to page 28 for Baruch Hu, our call to worship.
Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch
I'll take a seat. And I'm going to turn to page 31, and you can read with me if you want on the top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. We find Shema on page 34. We're going to do that next. And as we're singing together, Shema is really a time often people close their eyes or they cover their eyes with a shape like this, which looks like a shin for Shema. But the Shema is all about listening. So we had Hazarat HaShavua before, a time for reflection, and now we kind of add on to that with a time for listening. Listening to the beat of your own heart, the breathing of your own soul or of the people around you, listening for what you need to hear right now in this prayer experience. Shema is on page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
From Shema, we go to Micha Mocha, which I often call our Song of Freedom. It's the moment when we celebrate the crossing of the Red Sea into this new wilderness, right? The Israelites had known what slavery was like. It wasn't a good life, but they knew what had come before. And now they were facing this vast open expanse in the desert with many, many things to figure out about how to live. As we're singing Micha Mocha, this moment of celebrating our freedom and our passage into a new Shabbat and an upcoming week, let us think about, what do you want to face in this Shabbat and in the week ahead? What are you going to be grappling over the next few days? And how can you find strength in this community and strength in your Judaism and your values to go forward with courage? Micha Mocha is on page 40.
Yam bam bam bim bim bam, yam ba 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 bim bam, yam bam bam bim bim bam, yam ba 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 bim bam, yai dai 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 dai, yam ba 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 bim bam, yai dai 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 dai, yam ba 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 bim bam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Adelot, oh Sefer, Adelot, oh Sefer, yada la la, la la, bim bam, yada da ba bim bam, yada bim bim bam, yada ba ba bim bam, ay da 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 da, yada ba ba bim bam, ay da 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 da, yada ba ba bim.
Hashkivenu is a prayer all about asking God, a higher power, for protection and safety as the sun goes down and it gets dark outside. We're going to sing a version specifically about Ufros Aleinu, which means spread over us the shelter of peace, the shelter of comfort. As we're singing, may you feel that comfort wrapped around you and above you, and may you take it with you into this evening. Well, Hashkivenu, we're going to do a different version, but if you want to follow Hashkivenu, it's on page 42.
Third line. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Let's try that again. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. The indented part on the bottom. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu lechaim ol shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. We're going to turn now to page 253 in Mishaberach. And before we go to the Amidah, you might want to put your finger on page 46 because we'll come right back to that, but we're on 253 right now. And we'll sing a blessing that's asking for those who we care about to heal. I know pretty much every one of us has someone in our family, someone in our friend group that needs healing, whether it's of the body or of the mind or of the spirit. So we'll sing the first half. I have a very long list to read. And then we'll come around and gather names in the room. And you can call out loud the names of the people you love and care about that are in need. And we'll gather those names into our hearts and include them in our prayers. Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor habracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Let us say Amen. Michelle Abraham, Ida Akiva, Adina Bat Michal, Sela Bat Michal, Sylvia Alberts, Charles Arenberg, Grace Blaustein, Jeffrey Brayer, Marlene Brayer, Jill Kahn, Eitan Chaim, David Childs, Ann Childs, Woody Clark, Jay Clement, Iris Cutler, Beatrice Feldman White, Paige Feldman, Judy Fenton, Marcos Garcia, Patty Goodman, Andy Hale, Helene Hale, Sis Klein, Valerie Kolaric, Cookie Lifshin, Kathleen Agnes McCarthy, Sheila Merowitz, Kathy Murray, David Pick, Howard Rosen, Dorothy Salkin, Peter Schifrin, Lindy Sobel, Mabube Soleimani, Bill Terry, Phyllis Torres, Irving Villesanor, Harav Harona Batzvia Yosef, Helena Wachtel, Pessel Bat Gittel Ve'ichel, Sonia Anwegi, Jessica Weldon, Michael Wolin, Andy Wu, Yudit Bat Nehama Mordechai, and Howard Zellico. with refuah shlema, the renewal of body,
the
renewal of spirit, and let us say,
We'll pray now for God to open up our lips that we may pray all that we need to pray, perhaps more prayers for healing, prayers for ourselves, prayers for our world, whatever it may be. We'll have time now as we go into our Amidah, our standing prayer. And this begins on page 46, and I'll invite you to rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agiteilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agiteilatecha. Let's end our Amidah with a song of peace, page 60. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol et uvechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I don't know if any of you here tonight are like me, and that is maybe you are a fan of the show Ted Lasso. The show follows the happenings of the fictional professional soccer team, or as they would say in the UK where the show takes place, football team, AFC Richmond. Ted Lasso, the star of the show, is like a fish out of water as he moves from Kansas City to the UK to be the team's coach. What he lacks in experience and cultural competency, he makes up for in optimism, determination, and many tweetable quotes about leadership. This show hit home for many, like myself, over these last few years because Ted models what it means to be a leader with integrity. He knows his values and he lives accordingly, even when it gets him into trouble. In season 2, episode 3, for example, Do the Rightest Thing, one of the players takes a moral stand and in the process blows a massively lucrative partnership for the team. After, Ted and this player are talking, and the player says that he hopes the team isn't upset with him. Ted looks him straight in the eye and says, "Hey, doing the right thing is never the wrong thing." Wouldn't it be wonderful if all leaders could stand firm in their values like Ted? With his big heart, Ted provides a fresh, albeit slightly Pollyannish, leader for people to turn to in our dark world. I bring this up because our Torah portion this week, Shoftim, is like Ted Lasso. It presents an idealistic model of leadership. We find ourselves in Deuteronomy, and Moses continues his final speech to the Israelites before he dies. He names 4 types of leaders who are going to lead the people once they enter the promised land. We have judges, Shoftim, that's what the Torah portion is named after. We have kings, we have priests, and we have prophets. I find the rules around kingship to be most striking. We read, "When you come into the land that Adonai your God is about to give you, and take hold of it and dwell inside of it, you should surely put over you a king whom Adonai your God chooses. When he sits on his throne of kingship, he shall write for himself a copy of this teaching, the Torah, in a book before the Levitical priests. And it shall be with him, and he shall read it all the days of his life, so that he may learn to fear Adonai his God, to keep all of his words, all of his teachings and statutes, to do them, so that his heart may not be haughty." For one thing, this passage seems to understand that power often brings arrogance, and that Torah is a possible salve to this conundrum. Secondly, and this is the part I find most interesting, is that this translation that I just read emphasizes that the king himself is responsible for writing his own personal copy of Torah. But why? A king is a king. A king has many people working for him, and he has many responsibilities that keep him very, very busy. And actually, writing a kosher Torah scroll, I learned, takes up to 2 years, a lot of time that a busy king probably doesn't have. So why can't the king have someone else write his Torah scroll as long as he promises to read it very, very scrupulously? Robert Alter, a renowned biblical commentator, comments that the king is to be actively engaged in writing his own Torah. This reminds me of when I was in college and I chose to handwrite all my notes during class instead of typing them on my laptop because I felt that this would help me internalize my learning and I would do better in my classes. We all know that when we decide to write something ourselves, we begin to internalize it and it becomes ours. We become personally invested. The Torah is the closest thing that humanity has to a roadmap on how to live a good life. And since the king holds such power over others, his Torah is particularly important. His every decision and action impacts an entire nation, so he must be grounded in his mitzvot and in his own values. So he must write his own copy. Highlighting the importance of the king's Torah even further, Rashi focuses on the Hebrew word mishneh in our passage, which means copy. He says that the inclusion of the word copy implies that there is an original copy of the Torah and then a second, so that this king is supposed to have two Torah scrolls in total. One for his treasury, and then one the king shall carry it around for personal use. So, in addition to ruling according to Torah while he's sitting on his throne, he actually must be ruling according to Torah in all places, aspects, times of his life, both personal and private. To me, this points to the definition of integrity, which I tend to use. I learned it when I was in rabbinical school, and it's when I learned our insides match our outsides. It comes from Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I don't know if any of you have read it, where he writes that honesty is telling the truth. In other words, conforming our words to reality. But integrity is conforming reality to our words. In other words, keeping promises and fulfilling expectations. This requires an integrated character, a oneness, a primarily oneness with ourselves, but also with the world around us. One of the reasons I think that our world feels so dark is that, and that's also the reason that I'm drawn to Ted Lasso, right? It's because our world is filled with leaders who lack integrity. Their insides don't match their outsides. They preach one thing, but then they do something completely different. And in our time of social media, it's actually easy for a lot of us to act in this way. We can advertise ourselves as one thing to the public, but then privately live in a completely different way. But what if we all lived by the same set of rules everywhere and all the time? Perhaps this is the definition of integrity, the definition of Jewish integrity, to live not according to broken and disconnected compartments, but as one whole person all the time, with our personal and our private and our public Torahs aligned. Perhaps Shoftim aims to teach us that Jewish integrity means consistently applying Jewish values that we learn from Torah in every aspect of our lives. Torah is a guidebook for all of us, not just for the ancient kings in our Torah portion. It provides a simple path for doing the right thing even when it gets us into trouble, like missing out on hugely lucrative deals like Ted Lasso does. But how do we get there? Simply put, we must live according to our own personal Torah. And this is how we choose to live with Jewish integrity. The choice is ours. We read through and create our own pages of Torah every single day through our choices and our actions. So this Shabbat, my question for you as we're thinking about Parashat Shoftim is, what pieces of Torah are you going to choose next? Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Let's move to our concluding prayers. Begins on 282 with Aleinu. Please rise in body or spirit. Thank you. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gdula leotzer breshit, shehu not hashamayim veyoser haaretz, umoshav yikaro bashamayim mima'al, ushchinatu zo begovhei meromim, hu Eloheinu einot, v'anachnu korim ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו 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 seated for a moment. At this time, we turn to page 294, Kaddish Yatom. This evening, we especially remember the following members of our congregation whose families are observing Shloshim, those in our congregation who have died in the last month. Nathan Goler, Ruth Levine, Steve Allen Goler, Sheila McCallum, Richard Dickies, Alan Levy, and Abraham Summer. We also recall those that have died at this season in years past, especially Maurice Rapport, Rose Goodman, Robert Goodman, Irving Cohen, and Irving Miller. I'd like to ask if there is anyone in the congregation observing Shloshim or has a yahrzeit on this Shabbat, the anniversary of a loved one's death, or in the first year after the death of a parent. Even if I've called the name, if you'd please rise and help us acknowledge who you're here to say Kaddish for so that we can take those names into our hearts. Thank you. Did I miss anybody? Let's take those names into our hearts and rise together. And as a congregation, we say Kaddish Yatom. We also say Kaddish for those that have no one to say it for them. We say it for those that were lost in the Holocaust, for those that have died from COVID-19, those that died in Hawaii, and all of those that have died from the violence of recent times in our world. Let us say Kaddish Yatom. 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yom mechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ul'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high create harmony amongst us, amongst all Israel, and truly amongst everyone that lives on this planet. And let us say Amen. You may be seated. I do want to point out that someone's wearing an LA Dodgers kippah, and whenever he stands up, we can see it on the screen. Just pointing that out.
Are almost toward the end of our service, but before we close officially, we have some announcements to make. I believe they're going to come up on our screen.
Announcements.
Okay. In case you didn't know, the high holidays are coming up.
You got to come over to this side.
So soon.
There you go.
No.
He moved it.
Perfect. The high holidays are coming up so soon. You can check out our website where there's a whole high holiday section. Beginning on September 15th, we have a lot going on, services, but also Tashlik. There are events for all ages, so we look forward to seeing you there. And before then, we're both going to be teaching 2 Elul classes on August 29th and September 5th. So if you want to spiritually and mentally and emotionally prepare for the holidays, please join us for those classes. They're both Tuesday nights.
And you can see by that sign, the theme for our upcoming year is Chesed, is kindness.
Stevie Wonder Shabbat is 1 week from today. It's going to be at a private home in a gorgeous backyard. The service will also include dinner. We still have spots available, so please come if you want to be inspired both by our Shabbat prayers, but also the beautiful melodies of Stevie Wonder. Please join us. If cost is an issue, we do have, we've had generous donations from our community, so we can make it work for you. So please come talk to either one of us or really anyone on staff, and we hope to see you there. Religious School, our first day of our Temple Emmanuel Religious School is coming up September 10th. We have a wonderful faculty lined up. We have wonderful curricula that we're putting together. Each day is going to include music and art and tefillah and good learning and just time for our little ones to connect with their friends. So if you have little ones in your own family, please sign them up for Religious School. You can ask me any questions you have, and we can't wait to see them there. That might be it. No, tomorrow morning we have Shabbat morning at Emmanuel. It's going to be led by Rabbi Aaron and Cantor Weiss at 10 a.m. We have a wonderful teaching, beautiful music, so please join our community. And there's always a great oneg lunch afterwards, so stay and chat with your friends. And that's it.
But before we go, this is not the last of the month, but we missed the last of the month.
Oh, because it's Stevie Wonder, maybe.
Right. So we do birthday blessings. Has anyone had a birthday in the month of August? Come on up for a blessing. Come on up for a blessing. If you had it in July also, I'm gonna make it go a little further. Anyone have a birthday in July?
Actually, I did.
All right, so you get to get a blessing. There we got another one. Oh, we have a couple coming up. And by the way, these two are going to be married very soon. We're going to go up by the ark, actually. You can go behind. I even have gifts for you. We have these keychains that have on them Tfilat Haderech, the blessing for traveling. So hopefully, driving around Los Angeles, you can, 1, 2, 3, 5. You may be blessed with a new keychain. Mazal tov, congratulations. I used to ask people to tell us who the president was the year they were born, but nobody could remember. So there you go. You even get one. Let's go right up here by the ark. We hope that this is a wonderful year for you, and you begin with a blessing. Much closer. I showered this week at one point. All right. Misha Berach, Avotenu V'Imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all of you who have come here to celebrate your birthday. For this year, we wish you health. We wish for you safety and comfort. May you continue to count the blessings of family and friends. And may you be renewed as you approach your life in the next year. May your body stay strong and your mind stay sharp and your soul be lifted by the presence of loved ones in your life. May you continue to feel the deep personal relationships in those people whom you share your life's journey. And may you pursue the passions that make your life unique and fulfilling. Every year we have the opportunity to grow and to find fulfillment in our life, no matter what last year was like. So may you find the space to breathe. And may you find the space to welcome the future with an open heart. Throughout all of your days, may you feel blessed and safe. Amen. May you feel luminous and loved. And may you feel joyous and whole. And we all say, Amen. And let's give a little Yom Haledet. Haledet Sameach, Yom Haledet Sameach, Yom Haledet Sameach, Yom Haledet Sameach. Pesach, and many more. All right, Mazal Tov to you. Mazal Tov. All right, we have our final hymn, which is Oseh Shalom. It's on the bottom of 294, if you're still there. We also have up on the screen, we have the words. If you'd like to stand, if you have permission, put your arm around the person next to you. If you don't know them, ask the name and all that. And we will end with a song of peace.
And I also want to thank everyone who helped make this service special, Sarah and Elizabeth and Amanda, who's greeting both online and in our foyer. So thank you all. Shabbat shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Baruch atem b'voechem, baruch atem b'tzeitchem. You're blessed as you came into this house. May you be blessed as you go forward. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.